Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Ava and I'm here to talk about books. Well, actually one book in particular, because I want this to be a whole like a reading vlog style video about this book that I'm holding right here, which is called 7 Dirty Secrets by Natalie D. Richards. So I've already started on this one. I'm like 35 pages in, so I know a little bit about the setup. And this one I picked for my series on here that I call The Dark Pages. Now, I don't have a tagline for Dark Pages yet, but I'll think of it later on. But basically, I'm seeking out books that are meant to be all about like have villains in them, kind of villain characters that are really creepy, unhinged, psychotic, just kind of like overall really weird, harm-causing human beings. So this one I hoped would be one of those, and I think that's it. I think this is gonna scratch that exact itch for me. And let me just read you quickly the description on the back. On her 18th birthday, Cleo receives a mysterious invitation to a scavenger hunt. She's sure her best friend Hope or her brother Connor is behind it, but no one confesses. And as Cleo and Hope embark on the hunt, the seemingly random locations and clues begin to feel familiar. In fact, every clue seems to be about Cleo's dead boyfriend, Declan, who drowned on a group rafting trip exactly 1 year ago. A bracelet she brought him, a song he loved, a photo of the rafting group taken just before Declan drowned, and then the phone calls start. Declan's voice taunting Cleo with the cryptic question, "You ready?" So like I said, I'm 35 pages in and I have thoughts. I am actually very excited. I don't know if you can tell, but I've been making notes. I've been highlighting a ton in this book, and I'm kind of like with the main character because the narrator is the main character, Cleo. She's the 18-year-old girl whose birthday is today. And basically, like, I don't know, I'm highlighting things that might be clues to the identity of the person who left her the note of the scavenger hunt. So what I really like about this book is like the atmosphere, because the author seems to like really put a lot of effort into making it seem like Cleo is actually like scared about this, but also like she's battling with this idea because she's an 18-year-old girl who has a bunch of friends and she's in school, right, still. And I don't know, it's like this idea that she's scared about someone potentially like being, you know, harmful, trying to do her harm. And at the same time, thinking that the most likely answer is that someone's pranking her, because apparently Cleo, our main character, she wants to study forensic science, and she's really into criminology and like escape rooms and like, you know, like darker themed videos, serial killers, whatever. In fact, she finds a gift. Let's start there. She goes to a shower. It's her birthday morning. She hates the idea for some reason. Well, not for some reason. It reminds her of the rafting trip a year ago where her ex-boyfriend died, apparently. And so she gets into the shower and she takes the shower, and when she steps out of the shower, there's like a gift box left on the sink. So literally someone came into her house while she was in the shower alone, because she's alone in the house. Her parents are out, her brother is not there. So she's all by herself. Someone came in while she was showering and left a box with like a clue for a scavenger hunt in there. That is so terrifying. And I love how in the book we are told that this character is so terrifying. She starts calling her friends. Like, you can feel the tension, you can feel the suspense, and it feels very realistic to what like would actually happen in real life if you found a little object after getting out of the shower on your sink, right? And she actually calls the police, which I love that she did that, because it's like, she's like, a stranger was in my house. Like, I don't understand what this is. I'll call the police. So I love that that was like a narrative that took place in the book. And basically the police officer didn't find anything. So that's cool. But at the end of the day, she and her friend Hope talked it out and basically decided that it has to be one of their friends from their friend group, or just anyone who knows that it's her birthday and would know she would enjoy a scavenger hunt. This is really, I don't know, it's really cool because like me as a reader, just from the excerpt on the back of the book, like I know that it looks like it's much more sinister than, you know, her deciding that it's probably one of her friends. But it's cool to see her like trying to figure it out, going through the mental gymnastics, the process of like, I don't know, I guess like a coping thing where she is scared, but she's like trying to convince herself that maybe it's just like not that scary. It's probably just someone I know. You know what I mean? So far we have enough characters. Like there's a big group of friends. So there's Cleo, then there's Hope, her best friend. Then there's Bennett, Cleo's boyfriend. Then we have Connor, who is Cleo's brother. They live together in the same house. Well, no, he doesn't live there because he's a student in a, you know, college or university. In any case. There's Declan, which by the way, I hate reading this name because I don't know how to say this name. I hope it's Declan, but it just sounds so made up. Declan! I wish the author just chose literally any other name on the planet. Can he be Mike? Please, can he be Mike? Anyway, Declan is the ex-boyfriend, and through, like in the first 35 pages, we actually learn that Declan is kind of a menace. He's dead, okay? But it seems like for Cleo, she does not miss him at all. There were some moments that she remembered throughout today as she's going through this like break-in into her house experience, where she remembers like Declan attacking her. And like there was blood, there was fight, chasing through a hallway. Like it sounds so menacing and so scary, but like again, it's just her like sporadic little thoughts of remembering last year's events basically. So again, we have like atmosphere 10 out of 10 because I don't know, it's just like the author is really good at making it feel very suspenseful and like there's a lot going on. Then we learn there's Valerie, who was in the friend group last year, but like after the mysterious death of Declan. God, of Mike, please make it Mike. Declan! After the mysterious death of Declan, she kind of distanced herself from the friend group, and she's a gymnast and she's really focused on her, you know, gymnastics career, I guess. So that's what we know right now. And at a point where Cleo and Hope decide to just go on the scavenger hunt because the clues have been left, they figured out the next spot to go get the next clue. And basically, yeah, they just decided it has to be like a fun birthday thing, or else it's just too scary to even think about. So yeah, the next chapter is probably just them going on the trip, which is, I don't know, I'm very excited. What do you guys think? This was exactly what I was craving. It's so nice. And I picked this one up because it seemed like maybe it's set in summertime because there's like a rafting, like water activity going on, and you don't usually see those in like wintertime. So I don't know, I kind of was trying to get a vibe of like a summer horror story, which reminds me a little bit of like one of my favorite movies of all time, I Know What You Did Last Summer. What are you waiting for, huh? And that also, like the part 1 takes place in the summer, like when high school is over and the friend group, well, I don't want to spoil it, but it's a really old movie. You probably know the plot and what it's about. I don't know. It's my favorite thing. It's my favorite thing. I'm so excited. I have very high hopes for this book. I don't want to put it down. It's just such an easy read, such a page turner. So I'm going to go back to reading it, and I'll update you later, maybe within the next 30 or so pages. We'll see how that goes. All right. The most important update I have for you guys is that I have Googled how to say that godforsaken name, and I was definitely saying it wrong. I think that was the reason why it sounded disgusting. It's because I was saying it wrong. It's not Declan. Moving forward, I'm gonna say it right. I'm gonna say Declan, even though I have never heard this name before in my entire life. Okay, I brought it up in the part 1. But basically, Declan is a piece of shit. He's a piece of shit. He's a human garbage. They alluded to that in the the very first chapters in the book. But yes, apparently he was cruel to Cleo. He was abusive. I think he was even like a drug user, a drunk, whatever. Comes from he's a bad seed, okay? More than a bad seed. He was actually physically abusing her and put her in a hospital, and she needed like 7 stitches. So yeah, we don't like Declan. We have no empathy for Declan and his stupid fucking name. So this is a big reveal. The scavenger, no. Is it a reveal? I think it was on the back of the book, actually. Basically, every clue leads to like a place that Cleo and Declan, as a boyfriend and girlfriend, like went to, and like a memory was formed. So clue number 1 led to like where they first kissed, for example. The point being, like, this person, whoever made the scavenger hunt and is making her go on these, you know, adventures, he might not be a he. I think it's a he, but I'll get to that a little later. In any case, this person is just kind of making her relive these moments with Declan, which is really weird because who the hell would know like intimate details of their relationship? It looks weird for Cleo that someone knows, and that's why the theory came up that Declan is actually alive. So Cleo revealed to us almost everything that happened last year on the trip where Declan died. But basically, they went like rafting on the river, and the river was really strong, and everyone else kind of understood that Cleo and Declan were in a fight, and Declan fell into the water, and the stream and the river was so like aggressive that it just like took him away. No one ever found the body, and it's like presumed dead basically. But the reason why it was not questioned is because, yeah, I guess it was a very dangerous river. And because no one found a body, now in Cleo's mind, she thinks he's still alive and is kind of tormenting her. I'm enjoying the idea. I don't believe it. Let me tell you why. He was a lot of things, but he was not clever. And this scavenger hunt, it took planning, okay? It took a psychotic mind that would want to like create this whole like thing to torment this person in a really like psychological way. And Declan, he was like a violent person, right? We all know a Declan. We ran into a Declan at one point in our lives, right? Like this guy who resorts to like punching someone when he's angry or upset, like is not the guy who's gonna sit down and like make a scavenger hunt. There's just no way. I'm not buying it. I do, however, have a different suspect. So we're halfway to the book, and we're only hanging out with Chloe and Hope together. They went to 3 different places to get like the next clues for the scavenger hunt, and now we're finally having Connor, the brother, join forces and sort of help out, I guess, but behind the scenes because he's not supposed to be helping out. Doesn't matter. The other friends are kind of distant. They're not joining the party, but I don't see why they would be so invested to like avenge Declan, because again, all the friends, the whole friend group kind of knew he was a piece of shit. But we do have a new character, and his name is Bennett, and he's the boyfriend of Cleo, and he's like not in the picture enough, like at all. He's supposed to be her boyfriend, and the book goes hour by hour, where we literally have a countdown timer of how many hours are left for her to solve the puzzle. And he's just like not checking in often enough. He's not calling enough. And the biggest red flag is that he's not even there on her birthday. And let me tell you why. And I may have mentioned it already, but basically he's like, he couldn't make it to celebrate his girlfriend's birthday because he's hanging out with his grandma. I'm sorry, hanging out with his grandma. I'm sorry, an 18-year-old boy. I grew up with an 18-year-old boy, okay? I have an older brother, and you could not pay him $1 million to hang out with his grandma instead of his girlfriend when he was that age. There's just no way. That's why, that's my main reason. And I know it's like, according to Cleo, he's like the perfect boyfriend. He's so gentle. He's so kind, so mature. But please, he's still 18. He's still just a guy. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. But my husband is that. My husband is the gentle, sweet guy, like a sweetheart. And even him, if we were 18 and I just became his girlfriend a few months ago, he would thank the lucky stars that he does not have to hang out with his family and instead gets to use me as an excuse to not hang out with his grandparents. And that's literally every guy I've ever met in my entire life. So I'm on to Bennett, and I think he's our guy. So, okay, update on the setting of the book. 2 things: location and the time of year, which I think could have been revealed a little earlier in the book, to be honest. I would have enjoyed that a little more, but that's fine. The first thing is the location. So the book is set in Columbus, Ohio. And what I did find out is that actually the author, Madame Natalie Richards, is actually from Columbus, Ohio, and she's a native. And what I really respect and find just heartwarming, I guess, is that she wrote a book and she set it in her hometown, and she's actually mentioning the local tourist attractions, local buildings, and I don't know, I just think it's really freaking cool. The other thing, we found out that the setting is actually not in the summer like I hoped. It's in spring. All right, I'm gonna go read more of this. Hopefully in next few days I'll finish the whole book, and then I'll probably just come back to you with the full review of the finished novel. Okay, so we left off where the scavenger hunt is leading Cleo to a department store that's abandoned building. And this was actually the first chapter while reading this book that I was laughing at the book and not with the book. And let me tell you why. Because all up to this point, it felt pretty realistic, everything that was going on. So they go to this abandoned building, and apparently the next clue is hidden in the second floor, so Cleo has to go up an escalator and sort of find it. And I swear, when I say the scene described in here when she retrieves the gift is from Michael Bay's movie. I don't understand why. I have no idea why this needed to be in the book whatsoever. Basically, she has it. She has the it's a gift, in a gift box, right? The clue, she has the clue. And they start hearing sounds, things start feeling shaky, wobbly, and then something snaps and everything jerks again. Hope and I both scream, "The escalator's coming loose! Get down here, go!" Something on the balcony crashes. A cloud of dust. The balcony sloped before it's deeply bowed in the center, the floor sagging. Basically, this building started crashing down for whatever the hell reason. at the exact moment that Cleo and Hope are there to retrieve the gift, like it just makes no freaking sense. Why are we suddenly in like the Bourne movie? I don't get it. This just was so unnecessary. They could have just left the building normally, having retrieved the gift and left it there. I don't know, it was so out of the blue. I was laughing my ass off when I was reading. Anyway, they get the next clue, they read the clue, they figure it out, and apparently it leads them to Valerie. So Valerie is one of the friends, and I guess like a mystery that, like, you know, whoever organized the scavenger hunt left the gift on her doorstep, instructing her to give it to Cleo once she figures out this clue. Then for a few pages we're back on the Beckett train, and so he checks in, and it's boring. I still completely don't buy his whole grandma bullshit. And it's like, so Cleo doesn't tell him just how scared she is and how she thinks that her ex-boyfriend might be alive, like the ex-boyfriend like just was supposed to be dead and was abusive to her. She doesn't say all that to Bennett, but still, like, she said enough. Like, she said someone broke into her house, she called police, and like he knows that was happening, as well as someone took a picture of her sleeping, and Bennett knows that as well. And when he's talking to her on the phone, he's like so jolly and like, I don't know, it's like making jokes, and I don't get the whole vibe. It's super creepy. I don't buy any of it. He just says, "How goes the hunting? Are there more creepy photos I should be worried about?" It's like, I'm sorry, but if my partner had someone taking pictures of them sleeping, I would not be joking about it. I would be calling the police. I would be booking a flight home. I would ditch my grandma in an instant. Like, I just don't understand this man. This is why he's my primary suspect, okay? This attitude right here. And she's like, well, it's confusing to me. I don't know where it's leading. And his response is, well, that's the part you like about mysteries, right? The intrigue, the excitement. It's like, what are you doing, guy? What the fuck? In any case, in this chapter, we actually find out exactly what happened at the river, okay? Like, the parts that were hidden from us, and this is page 174, okay? And this is my problem. The clues, the scavenger hunt clues, kept alluding to this thing where it's like, I will reveal your secret if you don't do what I say. And it's just like, Cleo is living with this mindset that she's like, no one can know. Oh my God. I'm like, girl, it is the most obvious thing what no one can know, okay? Like, what else could have happened besides that you pushed Declan to the river? Like, I just don't see a scenario in any universe where anything else could be a secret but that. And at this point in the book, again, page 174, I'm annoyed because I'm like, this is not a secret. What are you talking about? Like, they were fighting, he was abusive, they were arguing at the river, and then suddenly he's in the water. I just feel like every human being has enough brain cells to put the two and two together, right? And we're acting as if it's like this big secret. And she's reading these clues out loud, by the way, to her friends, that it's like, I'll tell them all, something, right? It's just like, who is not understanding what happened? But anyway, in the book, we have to go along with it. It's a reveal, okay? So it's a reveal that they were arguing, and then Declan went fucking crazy. He attacked Cleo, he pushed her to the ground, started choking her, literally said the words, I'll kill you, Cleo. So she basically was just scared for her life. She was defending herself, and in the moment of defending herself, she pushed him, and he kind of went down, I guess, a little cliff and then into the water, and we never saw him again. So I don't know, it's like kind of a reveal. It's nice to have all of the scene from start to finish laid out like that, but like, come on, surprise to nobody. And so once they get to Valerie, another important thing happens in this chapter is they start talking about Bennett, and Valerie reveals a little secret about Bennett. Apparently she saw a post on Facebook where he was tagged. His friends tagged him in New York, which is not where he said he was with his grandma. So a lie has been revealed. Bennett has been faking his trip with his grandma. My mind is blown because raise your hand who was buying the whole grandma trip thing, because that was so ridiculous. Of course he was not with his grandma. So anyway, Cleo and him have a call and she's really upset that he lied, but he allegedly, okay, let's say allegedly because he's still my prime suspect. Allegedly, Bennett is not with his grandma and actually he's visiting a university. But let me tell you this. So he did not allegedly wanted to tell Cleo all of this because it would rub it in her face that he got into a university that she's trying to get into before she got into it, right? Like he's just like, you were so excited about it, I didn't want to say anything, I wanted to wait until I can share the news when you have your good news with me. Okay, it's such a pathetic excuse. I don't know, I feel like she'd be happy for you, she's your girlfriend. And I feel like this also revealed, because she kind of softens up a little. She's still mad at him for lying, but she's like, okay, whatever, he's such a sweetie. And I'm like, girl, you are doing the same thing you were doing with Declan. Because when Declan was abusing you and like doing these things, you kept dismissing it. You kept dismissing red flags and saying, like, believing that he can do better. And now the same thing I see on the page happening with Bennett. Like, he lied to you. He faked. That took so much effort. He had fake photos that he sent to you. Like, he was on the phone with you being like, oh yeah, gotta go, my grandma is looking at antiques now. Like, he had stories ready to fake his like weekend with his grandma and actually send her photos from the alleged places he was visiting. And it's just like, what are we doing? This guy, just dump his ass. What are we doing? Okay, so the next thing after she like ends her call with Bennett, she checks in with Aiden. And remember, Aiden and Valerie, they're siblings and they were in the friend group. And I don't know if I mentioned this before, but Aiden is gay and he had a crush on Declan. So he's the most pissed off at Cleo out of the whole friend group, because to him, like whatever happened at the river, Cleo took like someone very special to him. Like it was her fault that he kind of drowned and whatnot. And this is very annoying to me because in their conversation, Cleo and Aiden, like Aiden brings up saying that he knew basically that Declan was hitting Cleo, that he was abusive to her, and he's still acting towards her that way. That is so messed up. Like, I don't even have words to describe how weird that feels to read, that he knew she was being abused and he still like has this spite for her, like, you did this, it's your fault. It's like looking at her with like a accusation in his eyes. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? The clue, the scavenger hunt leads them to a bookstore, which I looked up. Again, it's a real place in Columbus, Ohio. It's so cool. It's called the Book Loft, where basically on a Valentine's Day, Declan bought a book when he was there with Cleo. So again, the clue leading to this place that was very an intimate knowledge thing between Cleo and Declan. And yeah, he was still weird, and he alluded like he bought this book because he said it was our favorite book or something like that, which, you know, I don't know if it's a reveal if I missed it before, but apparently he has a brother, which again, it could be Bennett in my eyes. I mentioned before that it feels like he's probably like someone who would be avenging his death so hard would have to be someone very close to Declan or Declan himself. Like, we still don't know if he's dead or alive. So with this clue, they head home, and I think Connor calls to tell Cleo that someone broke into their house again. And this was my favorite part of the book. So, okay, we had the scavenger hunt person break in for the first scavenger hunt, and now this is the second time. And this person left a note in Declan's room on the wall saying left for dead. And that is really creepy. And again, it's clearly there's so much like blame here going for Cleo that she basically, I don't know, she killed him, right? And then they start hearing water. So apparently whoever broke into the house left the water in the bathtub running, and the water filled the bathtub. It overflowed, creating this kind of water scene in their house. And I just thought it was so like cool and poetic and really scary because they, at the bottom of the bathtub, they find a mannequin, and it's like the way it's described. It says the body inside is crammed and contorted, torso wrenched away, legs bent at terrible angles, neck twisted backwards, and a Sharpie drawn handprint splayed right in the center of the chest. And I thought this was so cool. So the perpetrator basically left this fucked up mannequin in their bathtub, and with like a handprint where she pushed Declan like off the cliff basically. I don't know, it's just I love how crazy it is, and it definitely reminds me of Pretty Little Liars 100. This is such an A moment. I think it's hilarious. And in this scene when they're at the house, Cleo basically is so nervous, and she admits out loud, like to Connor for the first time, she's like, I pushed him. I say plainly, Declan, I pushed him into the river. And his response, guys, is, I figured as much, still don't care. Like, it is so hilarious. She, again, like she was walking around this whole time thinking she's carrying this huge secret that no one has any idea. Everyone thinks it's an accident. And basically, so before she told Hope, and now she's telling Connor, and both of their reactions were like, yeah, duh, like we're not dumb. Okay, so they head to the park to get the next clue. So in the park, when they find the clue, they spot a person watching them across the park, and both of them, so it's Cleo and Connor right now, and both of them decide that the person they're seeing is Declan. It's like, it's his body, it's his mannerisms, they're kind of seeing the person. And in both of their minds, they agree, this is Declan. So they start chasing this guy. They trapped Declan into the top, I think, level of a parking lot maybe, because there are cars in there. And he can't get out. So they kind of start waiting for him to come down and meet them, which I'm like, no, just like go upstairs and confront him. What is going on? And so Declan begins to smash car windows, and then he sends text messages saying, I'll set you up, like finish the last clue or I'll let him take the blame for everything, you know? And it's like, we know this guy is smashing the car windows. The sister and the brother are one level down, and they start hearing a security guard, because I guess with this commotion security comes out, and like they run away, and it makes no sense. I'm sorry, but the suspense of disbelief required for this scene is too much for me. I can't handle it. Like, I just have to close my eyes and be like, did not see, I don't know what happened there, let's move on to the next chapter. They have text messages to prove he was trying to set you guys up for this like car breaking and whatever not, and they're just like, no, if the guard finds us, he'll think that we did this and we'll go to jail or something like that. I'm like, no, you literally just turn your phone screen and say, no, that's not us, there's a person up there, can we go check it out, we're scared. They leave, they escape, and I'm just left confused. They look at the sky, and the storm is brewing, the clouds are in the sky, and I like it. You know, it's definitely a cliche to bring like a storm into the last reveal of the story, but I think it's a cliche for a reason, you know, because it just works, you know. getting the weather involved into the energy and the mood of the plot, I think it's effective and I really like it. I like imagining that there's like storm and rain happening while they, you know, find that they're like this crazy guy that they thought died is alive. So the last clue basically is this, whatever is on the back of the book. It says, I know 7 secrets. One caused the fall, one did nothing. One saw it all, one didn't care. One used their head, one played the hero, one was left for dead. And I've been trying to figure this out. Like, I kept flipping to the back of the page as I was reading the book throughout, and I kept trying to figure out which basically character is which clue, and I couldn't figure it out. And basically on the back of the clue there's an address, and they have to go to this pool at a YMCA building because apparently that's where Cleo and Declan met. And that was, it wasn't their first date. They didn't meet there. They lived together before. But it's when they went to this pool party is when I guess their feelings emerged and where they together as a couple started. So Cleo and Connor are together at the hunt and Hope is elsewhere, and they all 3 of them decide to meet at the entrance of YMCA, and Hope goes missing. And that's very scary because I care about her. I don't want anything to happen to her, but basically they can't find her. Her car is there when they arrive, but she's not there. So they assume she went into the building. They start looking for her, but they just find her cracked phone left and Hope nowhere to be seen. So I have to continue reading. I have 3 more chapters left and I'm very excited to know, and I hope that Hope is okay. And I'll update you as soon as I finish. Well, it is finally finished. I'm really glad I read this. This was a really fun read overall. Okay, so we had a few chapters left for me to fill you in on, and I don't think I need to say this, but obviously I'm gonna spoil the ending. So if you like this whole video, I was not holding back, so just so you know. Okay, so when we left off, Hope had disappeared. So Connor and Cleo, they go into the pool where they obviously know that the showdown is gonna go down, and they are expecting obviously Declan to show up because they both saw him at the park. And see, this part has not been explained, how they both saw Declan, but it wasn't actually Declan because he's dead. Confirmed, okay? Confirmed. He's gone, and not nobody. Normal people don't miss him. Weird, fucked up people miss him for some reason. Okay, so Cleo and Connor go to the pool to try and find Hope. They're calling her name, and then they're exploring the area, and Connor sees Hope in like this sort of like a cage kind of thing, and she's hurt, she's knocked out. My heart goes out to her. I really love this character, so poor Hope, she's been hurt. Obviously Connor goes to try and help her out, whilst Cleo, she sees another box, like white box with the ribbon, like with the clue on it, on a pool edge, like on the edge of the pool, and she goes to grab it. Anyway, while she's distracted, a guy just runs through the door of the pool towards Connor and Hope and locks them in a cage. And while that's happening, Cleo kind of loses control of her. Like, she's not pushed into the pool, she really just falls in because she's, I guess, dizzy. And as she's struggling, trying to reach the surface, guess whose legs she sees watching her die in a pool? I'll give you 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. It was Bennett all along. That motherfucker. And she's so panicked. She's like, oh my god, help me, what the hell? And like, whilst she's struggling, because she can't swim. I think I mentioned that at the beginning of the book. She can't swim, so she's really dying there. No, so Connor screams, you're killing her. And Bennett goes, no, I'm not killing her. I'm just not doing anything to help her. Nothing wrong with that. is there hope? So he's fully in a villain, like sarcastic mode. He's enjoying this moment. A person is dying in front of him, and his like revenge is, he's like in the glory of the success of his plan, because apparently the plan all along was to kill her, like to kill Chloe, to make her pay for his dun dun dun, his brother's death. Okay, so we figured it out. It's fine. It's like, it's okay that it's not the biggest reveal. I think it's fair for the book to kind of sprinkle in the clues for the reader to sort of trace it together. I think it's fine. I don't know. I could say like, how did they not see it coming? But then at the end of the day, when you're in love with someone, right? And I do feel bad for Cleo, because it's her second boyfriend that was trying to kill her, and it's just, it's not a good score. We did mention that she has a pattern of like falling for guys and then kind of overlooking a bit of red flags. I mean, it was more than a red flag with Declan, but just, you know, being very forgiving. So I can understand why her as a character maybe didn't see Bennett as a like potential suspect in this, but we did. Okay, like we knew as a reader, and that's okay. So yeah, like I said, Bennett is a complete psychopath. He's the brother of Declan, and he made this whole charade to lure her in and like destroy her life, watch her die in front of his eyes and laugh in her face. She's like, it began at the river and now I'm here in the water drowning. So this is just really hard for her. And meanwhile, obviously Hope and Connor have to watch like her best friend and his sister just die, and they can't do anything about it because they're locked in a cage. They're trapped basically. So it's a very intense situation. I felt like the author did a good job bringing that atmosphere to life. Like, I don't know, I felt very immersed, so good job on that. And so then the last thing Bennett says to her is, think of him, Cleo. I hope you think of my brother when you drown. So he truly has lost it completely. And they reveal that the reason for him not going to the police is because, well, he doesn't have evidence, because, well, you know, it's like his word against the other 6 people that were there that would say that's made up or something. I don't know. He's just a psychopath, because really every normal human being would just go to the police. And the beautiful thing happens is his accomplice was Aiden. He shows up to save the day. Basically, he unlocks the cage where Connor and Hope are trapped in. We still have Cleo struggling to survive in the water. She's not doing a good job. And then I thought the most endearing moment was that Hope was the one that ran immediately to the pool water and dragged Cleo out of it. So she saved her best friend. That tugged at my heartstrings. That was so beautiful. And while they're both like trying to, you know, recover from this, they look at Connor, the brother, and he's beating the shit out of Bennett basically. So I don't know, everything just seemed so like well-rounded, I guess. I really liked the ending. And yeah, my favorite part was that Hope saved Cleo, and that was so beautiful. And then Aiden has to kind of come to a realization that he really dismissed how violent Declan was, because he was really drunk the night, like last spring at the, you know, horrible event, the trip that happened. He was really drunk that night, so he sort of saw the event happen, and he just didn't want to believe that he was seeing Declan try to strangle Cleo and that it was self-defense. It was, again, he had a crush on him, so he was just grasping at straws, trying to justify and somehow live with this. It's really complicated. We don't get a lot of into his like psyche about that, but I think we can sort of come to our own conclusions about that. The book just wraps up at that. The police show up, and that's it. There's no like seen a year after or like a happily ever after. We don't know anything about whether Cleo got into the university she wanted. Nothing. It's just the book ends with the police showing up and just sort of them staying alive. That's it. And I thought that was a good ending. I really don't appreciate when books like drag out the endings. When you kind of are finished, the story wraps up and you still have to read like 10 pages of like closing chapters. To me, that's too boring. So I actually really appreciate the 7 Dirty Secrets for not doing that. My overall rating on a creepiness scale for this book, I thought a little bit about it. I think I'm gonna give it a 3. Just because a 3 to me is like, yes, I'm scared, but the situation could probably be solved if you call the police, involve authorities, and have a gun on you. And then it's like, you know, it's like solvable. So to me, that's a 3. You know, nothing too scary. Still a maniac. Again, what kind of mind thinks of this instead of just going to the freaking police and telling them your brother was pushed? Like, I don't know. Yeah. Unhinged, definitely, and I really had a good time. Anyway, if you guys stuck around for that long, thank you so much. Appreciate you so much for watching the video. If you liked it, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. That would really help me out. And I guess I'll see you next time. Oh, and remember, never trust a boyfriend who would choose his grandma over hanging out with you. Oh my God. Red flag, red flag, red flag.